In this video, we are going to be discussing how to write the equation of a line in point-slope form. Point-slope form is y minus y sub 1 equals m parentheses x minus x sub 1, where x sub 1, y sub 1 is your point, and m is your slope. So when you are writing the equation of the line in point-slope form, you want to look for exactly like the name sounds, a point and a slope. If we have a point and a slope, we can write the equation of the line in point-slope form. For this first example, I'm given a slope of -3 and a point 4, 5. I'm going to label my point x sub 1, y sub 1, similar to the way that we did when we graphed in point-slope form, and similar to the way that we do if we were going to be finding a slope. When I follow the formula, wherever I see a y1 in the formula, your y value is going to go. Wherever I see an x sub 1 in the formula, your x value is going to go. When I write my equation y minus 5 equals, m comes next, so the slope that I see is going to go in front of the parentheses, -3 parentheses x minus 4. Notice that the minus signs came from the formula, but I want you to think about it this way. So the reason here this minus sign came from the formula that has a minus sign between the x and the x sub 1. However, I like to think of it as, when I look at the ordered pair, if the 4 looks like a positive in the ordered pair, when it's in the formula, it needs to look negative. When the y is a positive 5 in the ordered pair, it needs to look like a -5 in the formula. So in this next example, we have an x value of 6, we have a y value of -2, and we have a slope of 1/3. So all these values are going to go to their corresponding spots in the formula, y, but because the -2 looks like a negative, when you put the negative into this formula, it's going to actually change it to a positive because you have minus a -2. So I like to say if it looks like a -2, I'm going to put a +2. My slope comes next in front of the parentheses. And then if it looks like a +6, I'm going to make it a -6. When you are writing the equation in point-slope form from a graph, you have to first find the slope by doing rise over run like we have in past units, and then pick either point that you are going to use. So in this case, I would use my slope by counting down from this point, 1, 2, 3, down 4, so -4 is my rise, and the run is 2. So -4 over 2 is -2. That means that my slope is -2. I'll highlight that in blue like we were doing in our previous examples. And then I can pick either point I wish. So you can either use 1, 2 or 3, -2. I'm just going to use 1, 2. So my x value is 1, my y value is 2, and now I can write my equation in point-slope form. Y minus the y value is 2. The slope is -2. And then x minus the x value was 1. This is a correct answer. I could have also chosen the point 3, -2, which if I chose the point 3, -2, the point that should go by the x is the 3, the value that should go by the y is the -2. But again, if it looks like a -2, I'm going to need a positive 2 when I read my equation or write my equation. The slope is still negative 2, and then x minus 3. Either of these answers are correct. Okay, and the last example from a table. First, you need to find the slope, and then pick a point. Again, we always need a point and a slope to write an equation in point-slope form. When we are looking at a table, we're looking at the change in y over the change in x. So y is increasing by 2, so our change in y is 2. Our change in x is 1. So the slope is 2. And then again, when you have a table like this, you have 3 options for points that you want to use. I'm just going to pick the first one I see, 1, 7. And my equation would be y minus 7 equals 2 parentheses x minus 1. You could have also written y minus 9 equals 2 parentheses x minus 2. You could have also written y minus 11 equals 2 parentheses x minus 3. So notice for these other values, I'm just using the different points you see here. So like 2, 9 would produce this